All right, let's start this meeting of April 14th, 2026, 6 p.m. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Wood.
Excused.
Councilmember Richardson.
Present.
Councilmember Arias.
Here.
Councilmember Kangiser. Here. Councilmember Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Johnstone.
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
Here.
Mayor Pinto.
Here. Thank you. Can we get an agenda approval? Councilmember Kaminsky,
Move to approve the agenda.
is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kangiser. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to special presentations, we have a proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I believe we're going to hear a few words from Family Education Support Services. Caitlin Dubus, who's a board member as well as our a local resident here. Roger Jones, the Community Engagement Director, is also with us tonight. All right. City of Yelm Mayoral Proclamation, National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas the City of Yelm recognizes our future rests in the hands of our most vulnerable and cherished assets, our children, and whereas all children deserve to live in a safe, stable, and nurturing environments which promote their healthy growth and development, and whereas child abuse, neglect, and other trauma are recognized as serious public health problems affecting both the current and future quality of life in our community, and whereas it is the responsibility of our community to ensure parents, caregivers, and other adults who influence the health and well-being of children have the support, knowledge, and concrete resources necessary to ensure that all children thrive to their greatest potential. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships among agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, healthcare providers, and the business community. And whereas we, as the City of Yelm residents, continue our commitment to protecting all members of our community and call upon all citizens to join together to increase public safety, prevent further abuse and neglect of our children. And now therefore be it resolved that I, Joe DePeno, Mayor of the City of Yelm, proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and urge all Yelm citizens, communities, state agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, elected leaders, medical providers, educators, businesses to increase their participation in efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the community in which we live. Signed, the City of Yelm, Washington, this 14th day of April 2026. If you would like to come up, go ahead and pictures, and if you want to go ahead and switch the word, yeah, we'll let you up. Just if the council wouldn't mind standing, what do you think? Yes, let's stand. Roger, did you want to come up? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you out here. Here's this. If you want to step the podium and say your words.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community members. My name is Kate Tumpus, and I've had the privilege of serving as a board member for FES, Family Education and Support Services, for the past 2 years, and I am a Yelm City resident. Today, I'm honored to speak on behalf of our 35 employees and our entire executive board. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here to accept the proclamation recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Each April across the country, you may see small pinwheels planted in front of courthouses, schools, and community spaces. And they may look simple, but they carry a powerful message. The pinwheel is a national symbol representing the happy, healthy, and safe childhoods that all children deserve. It's also a symbol of hope and the possibility of what we can do together when we gather as a community. At FES, we work directly with families to provide evidence-based parenting education for caregivers at every stage. Home-based support and case management for families who need extra stability. For kinship caregivers, we offer supervised visitation and safe exchange services and other specialized services like the Parent-Child Assistance Program, which works with pregnant and parenting mothers facing substance use challenges. We also provide basic needs support like housing and utilities and diapers and food resources. because we believe that stability at home is directly connected to child safety and well-being. Our goal is to keep children safe while strengthening the people raising them. The blue pinwheels you'll see around our community this month represent that goal. They're a reminder that prevention is possible when communities invest in families early and consistently. What I've seen on my time on the board is that this work doesn't happen in isolation. It depends on partnership with schools and courts and local government and community members who choose to show up for our neighbors. This proclamation matters because it signals that prevention is a shared responsibility and reinforces the support families, that supporting families is not reactive work, but proactive, ongoing, and essential. We appreciate your leadership in recognizing and supporting April as Child Abuse Prevention Month and supporting the services that help families stay stable and children stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming out.
But we do have a pinwheel, so you can remember the committee and a little information about our meeting. And Peak Credit Union has these out. They're a sponsor of our Child Abuse Prevention Month. They're at the Capitol Building in Olympia and Thurston County Health Department, as well as some other businesses. And here again to get the word out about what we can do as individuals to help prevent child abuse. So thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Caitlin and Roger, for coming out and saying the words and bringing out the pinwheels too. All right, up next, we have our public comment. Right now, we only have one. Is there anyone else that wishes to testify? Fill out one of these blue cards. All right, Dean Prater.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dean Prater. My wife Tracy and I own about a 40-acre parcel just south of the Yelm 640. In fact, our northern 20-acre parcel borders the southern edge of the 640-acre property that you have entered into a deal with Blue Fern to purchase that property. We were approached last spring by Blue Fern requesting us to consider selling them that northern 20-acre parcel that's adjacent the Yelm 640. At that time, we told them that we weren't interested in dividing up the property, but we would be interested in accepting an offer for the entire 40-acre parcel, including our home. They came back the next day with a fair offer. In fact, it was slightly below the current taxable value. But to us, it seemed like a fair offer because it would be an easy deal. Everyone understands it's hard to sell a home sometimes, and just to get the realtor out of the equation and just make an easy deal, we felt that was something worth exploring. So we entered in negotiations, and on July 21st, we signed a PSA with Blue Fern to purchase our property. There were some timelines established. There was a 6-month feasibility phase with 4 1-month possible extensions for a total of 10 months feasibility. After that, they would have had up to 24 months during the development stage to finish the purchase of the property. Since July 21st, the first 6 months in that feasibility, there was zero activity on our property. There were no engineers, there were no biologists, there were no surveyors, there were no county agencies. There was absolutely crickets. Nothing is going on the property. We entered the first 1-month extension, and that's when we were asked if we could facilitate possibly a surveyor or facilitate possibly the antiquities survey group. And we told them, of course, we wanted to do what we could to help, move things along in the process. Turns out the antiquities people just need a place to park cars. They had no interest in our property. So they parked on our property. This went on for about 4 weeks on and off. And they walked out to the Yelm 640 to survey that property, not ours. I questioned them about that, and they said they don't have orders to do anything with the Prater property. So that's kind of when the alarm bells went off. We knew time was ticking down. We only had about a month left, one more extension possibility to continue the feasibility stage. And on the last day of the third extension, we got a call from Blue Fern and said that we're no longer interested in purchasing your property, and we're issuing a termination letter tonight. That termination letter did come right on time, right before 5:30, close of business. And that was it with our dealings with Blue Fern. So I'm bringing this to your attention, not because we're asking for anything. We don't want anything. Them's the breaks, they say, right? But I think it's important to know the way our contract fell apart as you guys proceed and continue in your dealings with Blue Fern moving forward. So they achieved their goal. They got their contract with the city because they had a PSA with us, because they had a sale agreement to purchase our property, which adjoins the Yelm 640. And that got through some legal loopholes and made them first in line so they could deal with the city of Yelm, which was great. And I'll say this last bit, and this is entirely my opinion. This is not a fact, this is my opinion. But we don't believe that Blue Fern entered into the PSA with us with the intent to purchase, only to make a deal with the city of Yelm. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions for me, I'd probably be more comfortable answering them off the record. But if anything immediate comes to mind, I think I've got maybe 30 seconds.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Okay, thanks, folks.
All right, is there anyone else from the public that wishes to testify?
We do have one person online. We have Kayla Russell.
All right. Oh, Kayla, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, perfect. I am just here. Sorry I can't be there tonight in person, but I would like to invite council and city staff and anybody in the audience to our very first Head Start art show. It's May 11th from 5 to 6 at Yelm Head Start, which is located at the Yelm Community Services Building. Our little guys are ages 3 to 5, and they have been working so hard on all of their different little art projects, and they would love to see all of you attend. That's all I got. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you very much, Kayla. Is there anyone else online that wishes to testify?
We do not have any other hands up.
All righty. We do have someone walking in the moment. I'll just wait just in case they wanted to make some public comment. They're coming this way. Give me a couple more seconds here. Hello, ma'am. Hello. Hi. Are you wishing to give public comment tonight? Oh, well, you got here just in time.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind going to the podium and stating your name for the record, and you wouldn't mind filling out one of these blue cards afterwards.
Okay, that's great. I do have some things to hand out, if you don't mind. Maybe a little short. I'm just coming from Rainier.
Okay.
City Council meeting. Thank you all so much for the opportunity. I apologize for being late. It's cold and rainy. So my name is Tana Moorhead, Small Business Administration. We are here in Washington State to serve survivors who have been impacted by the winter storms that happened in December 2025. There have been areas that have been impacted more than others. Of course, we're serving by counties, personally, them serving them, and just making everyone aware that we are here so that the survivors can get the assistance that they need. The Small Business Administration is the largest source of funds for disaster survivors who need financial assistance for our low interest loan program to help them recover, replace disaster damaged property. That's for homeowners, renters, small businesses, including nonprofit organizations as well as charities, universities. And we're able to assist them with a low interest loan that actually is disaster friendly, is what I like to call it. Because it's zero payment for the first 12 months, zero interest for the very first 12 months. So that helps the survivor regroup, and get things repaired that they need to get repaired, and give them a little breathing room, and definitely lessens the stress. My ask of you all today is you can share this information with your constituents, share the information on websites, social media channels. If there are any events that you think could attend and share this information, and maybe do a presentation to go more into details on how the program works. And also, we have centers set up, various areas where applicants, potential applicants can come and sign up. Or we can do what we call a mobile recovery vehicle. So that's one of our key tools that we're using to go to the rural areas. Sometimes disaster survivors aren't able to get to centers, and so we can come to them. We'll arrange a date and time and have customer service reps on hand to be able to service the applicants in the community. Lastly, I don't know if you all may have gotten, FEMA is here. They are here with us on this disaster. So if you have any questions, you want to, run something by me, I'm happy to speak with you. I've left my business card on the attachment, and I'm available for you all here. Our deadline application actually is going to be June the 7th. I believe that's the new deadline, but it's in June for physical damages. So that's for homeowners, renters, small businesses, nonprofits included, faith-based organizations as well. So anyone impacted by disaster damages are welcome to apply. Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I'll sit and take.
All right, well, thank you. All right, is there anyone else that wishes to testify? All right, no one else online? No one else online? All right. We'll be moving on then to the consent agenda. We have the March 24th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, and the February 2026 check register and position summary. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Alder Kingheiser,
I'll move to approve.
is there a second? Second by Councilor Kaminsky. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on, new business, we have ordinance number 1144, amending the 2025-2026 biennial budget. Stephanie.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. So tonight we are doing our first budget amendment of the year, and this is actually setting the beginning fund balances for the year. So at the end of 2025, we were making estimates of where we would end at the year end. Now that we've closed the books for 2025, we have our actual numbers, and I believe our beginning fund balance overall citywide is about 22% above what we estimated, which is a good thing. Most of those changes were in the general fund, the utility fund, and the capital funds. Also in this budget, we've included new items that weren't known at the time of the adoption of the biennial budget. Also, it includes several project carryovers. So capital projects that we were not able to finish in 2025, we carry those over into 2026. Also, it will pull out of the budget any capital projects that we just aren't able to move forward into 2026. So tonight in Finance Committee, we did review this in depth. I shared my very large spreadsheet with them, and we went through every single line of it. I thought I would just go over some of the bigger items with council, but if you have any questions, ask. The first change I wanted to talk about is I think 3 or 4 years ago, the council did budget $7,000 to create an art district. We have not done that yet, so we are just rolling that over again into 2026. In 2025, we did plan to hire some new officers with the public safety sales tax. We weren't able to do all of that hiring, and so the money that we budgeted in 2025 for that new officer, equipment, fuel, all the things that we have to do for a new officer, we're rolling that over into 2026. That's about $64,000. We are also adding about $130,000 to the general fund budget for the police officers' year-end holiday and comp time cash outs, and also some of the premium pays that those officers receive. And again, we have a lot of public safety sales tax coming in that's covering some of these costs. The other thing that we discussed is with the change to the municipal code, a year or two ago, we've seen a decline in our gambling revenues, our gambling tax revenues. So we're reducing those estimated revenues by about 15,000. We have several adjustments in the budget for equipment rental charges to all the different funds. We renegotiated our enterprise contracts, and we've kind of moved things around to make those contracts more cost effective for the city. So we're making those adjustments with this amendment. Let's see. And then we have a large list of capital projects on page 2 of the changes. We do have about 25,000 left for the solar on the community center that we need to do this year. We received a $1 million grant. It's from Department of Agriculture. It was from Strickland, I believe. Cody's behind me. That's a federal grant that we are going to be using for the Fuller footpath. And so we're excited about that. We looked it up. We're on the official list with the federal government. We haven't got the official letter yet, but we're adding that to the budget. Several expenditures in the water and sewer capital funds. One question was, we are adding 500,000 for the new well and water tower and water rights for the 640 acres. Cody was telling me that'll be like a 20-year ongoing thing. And so the question was, didn't we already get the water rights? Well, this is for the 640 acres. We're going to be doing a general sewer plan and a stormwater plan updates this year. So that is in here. And then we are rolling over the habitat conservation planning project and the comp plan. Both of those have grants paying for those in 2026, and those are rollovers. That's about the highlights of the budget amendment. I do want to point out that on the second page of the actual ordinance, I had that it would be approved July 14th. That is incorrect. It will be approved today, April 14th. That correction. Any questions I can answer?
Anyone from the finance committee wish to say anything? All right, I'll look for a motion. Councilmember Hess.
I move that we approve ordinance number 1144, amending the 25-26 biennial budget.
Is there a second?
1 second.
Second by Councilor Harris. Was that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, council. All right, moving on to ordinance, or new business item B, ordinance number 1146, chapter 1.12, general penalty of the Yelm Municipal Code. Yeah.
The mayor and council members. All right. So I'm here to present ordinance 1146 and proposes an amendment on chapter 1.12, I'm sorry, of the Yelm Municipal Code regarding general penalties. The primary purpose of this update is to bring our local code into full alignment with the current requirements set forth by the Washington State Administrative Office of the Court. This amendment updates the city's general penalty provisions to align with current state sentencing guidelines and fine schedules. These will also ensure that our court's law table within our judicial information system remains legally accurate and enforceable. This chapter was last updated in 1984. It's pretty outdated. Therefore, these revisions are necessary to modernize the city's judicial processes and maintain statutory compliance. This is also a part of a local law table data cleanup and maintenance project in preparation for the data conversion into a new case management system that is coming to all the courts. So really, this is mainly housekeeping. Nothing else is really going to change, other than the new amendment is gonna stay specifically if these are, the certain violations are misdemeanors, gross misdemeanors, and civil infractions, which it did not note it before, so. That is pretty much, each court used to maintain our own law table, but it's now in the hands of the state. They do all the maintenance, just like they currently do the statewide RCWs. And so this is part of why this is being done as well. The amendment has been reviewed by our city attorney, and also I did present it at our public safety committee meeting. So I'll take any questions at this time.
Questions, comments from council? Motion, Councilor King Heiser.
I move to approve ordinance number 1146, amending chapter 1.12 of the Yelm Municipal Code regarding general penalties for city violation.
There a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Richardson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
All right, our next item under new business is item C, approval of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Awards. These are all separated out as council requested, so we'll be voting on each individual one. We are gonna get a staff briefing by Kathy, our city clerk. Just kind of a little bit about these. And then we'll go and ask for motions on each of these. At that point, at the first part, if you have any questions, please, or comments, please direct that staff to Kathy for just the general how it works. If you have any questions on that functionality, logistics of it, and then we'll go ahead and ask questions on each individual one when they're motioned. That clear? All right, Kathy, would you please give a briefing on this?
Thank you. We did cover this at our study session. We went over some of the applications. Just kind of a quick recap. The beautification grant application process opened the first week of February, and we accept applications for a full month. So it closed on March 6th at 5:00 p.m. The applications, we advertise those on the city website and social media accounts. The beautification grant committee reviewed the applications. We did receive 6 applications. One did not qualify. One was submitted after the deadline, and the application unfortunately does strictly says late applications will not be accepted. And then 4 applications are being recommended by the committee for awards for 2026. Anyone has any other questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Councilor Johnstone.
So why did that one application that didn't meet the specifications, what was the specification?
It was a local, like food pantry type thing. They're setting up on a table. They wanted to build a little structure in their front yard, but that isn't really a beautification type project. It didn't meet any of the criteria in the application as for a food pantry type thing in a neighborhood.
Any other questions? Again, and Councilor King Heiser and myself are both also on that committee as well. If you want to direct any questions to us on any of that decision making as well. Other than that, is there any further questions? Process?
Was there comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Councilor Richardson.
Well, I looked at all these and specifically looking at the one with the Harvey building, the one over there at 102 East Yelm Avenue for the awning. And so when I think about that, there's a lot of things that come into play for me. A lot of it is there's an historical building, so I'm just like, well, it's historical. But then again, as you think of the wind causing damage, and that to myself, it's an act of God. So then every time the wind causes damage, is somebody gonna apply for something like this? And beyond that, I think the left side of it, which probably, I don't know if that's included in this, because there's the right side, which the wind did damage to, and the left side, which I'm pretty sure was hit by a semi truck or a trailer, something of that nature. If that's included that or not that I need to know, but at this point, I would think that if somebody had insurance or even the truck that hit that had insurance, that they would pay out of there through their property damages. And they would go after that and ask the guy to, whoever did it, to pay for the damages on that awning. The other side being that it's a wind thing, again, that's another possible insurance claim. The unfortunate part of this is that there's the church that leases the building from the owner, and they don't have really much to say because they just lease the building. So it's the owner's responsibility to really maintain a structure that somebody is leasing. And so for it to be dilapidated for that long amount of time, it either shows to me that that's neglect or failure to even repair something as far as having somebody that is renting your space. To apply for this, I get it. The only thing that I'm looking at is, okay, maybe for historical purposes, because that's a beautiful building and I see that. But it's a little difficult for me knowing and understanding that how insurance works and then asking for money, taxpayer money, to use this to fix a thing when you should already have insurance on your building that would cover this or repair this, or the insurance of the individual who caused the damages would have that to fix that as well. So there's a lot of things in here like this could have been done a different way. At this point, it's already been. It's not that it met all the requirements, which is great. But then the situation for me is looking at it through a different perspective is, well, there could have been other ways to fix this rather than applying for a grant. And did you exhaust those opportunities prior? Or did you just hope to get money from the city is where I'm hung up on.
All right, thank you for the comments. Let's go ahead, before we move forward, let's go ahead and get a motion for each of these and then talk about those ones specifically. So we're talking specifically about the 3,500 to Steve Craig for the awning of 102 East Yelm Avenue. If there is a motion for that one, let's go ahead and hear a motion and then we can open it up for further discussion on that. Is it all right with council if we go ahead and just go in order of these and we'll go from there? All right, so the first one is $1,000 to bounties for families for retaining wall and pavers at the Yelm Community Garden as part of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Program. Is there a motion to approve that? Councilor Hess.
I move to approve $1,000 to bounties for families for retaining wall and pavers at the Yelm Community Garden as part of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Program.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Arias. Is there discussion on this? Councilor Hess.
I just want to, in support of this, that community garden, I've seen it used quite a bit for training, for learning. I see people who've gone in there and they've kind of like seen how plants are going to grow and such. And so I'm glad to see that they're doing some improvements to it. And I think that's one of our many things in that park that there should be making sure is maintained very well for them.
Okay. Are there any other comments, questions? All right, let's do a roll call vote on each of these and we'll go from there. Councilor, so this is for the approval of $1,000 bounties to families. Councilor Richardson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Arias?
Yes.
Councilor Kingheiser?
Yes.
Councilor Hess?
Yes.
Councilor Johnstone?
Yes.
Councilor Kaminsky?
Yes.
Great. Motion is approved for $1,000 bounties to families. All right, moving on to the next item would be $5,000 to the American Legion Post 164 and VFW Post 558 to purchase a new digital sign as part of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Program. Is there a motion to approve? Councilor Kingheiser.
So move.
Is there a second? Councilor Hess. Second by Councilor Hess. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote again. Sorry, Councilor Kaminsky, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Johnstone?
Yes.
Councilor Hess?
Yes.
Councilor Kingheiser?
Yes.
Councilor Arias? Councilor Richardson?
Yes.
All right, motion is approved. All right, moving on to the $4,000 to Pizzeria La Gitana for decorative lighting as part of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Program. Is there a motion to approve? Councilor Richardson?
I move to approve $4,000 to Pizzeria La Quintana to decorative lighting as part of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Program.
Is there a second? Second by Councilor Arias. Is there any discussion? Councilor Hess?
looking at the project and having done similar projects, I noticed that they are putting in for the posts to be 15 feet in height, so that then with the hang of the lights, it'll get hopefully no lower than 14 feet. And I'm just concerned, I just want to make sure that we are, while it's being done, that somebody's going to check on that, because you want to have the height for the commercial trucks that come through. And as I said, just having done it before, that 1 foot drop might actually be a little bit lower of a drop, and too much pressure on the ropes. So I just want to make sure that, somebody is there keeping an eye on that.
This was a concern that was brought up by our building official regarding that drop, and it was discussed through the committee, and it will be followed up on. That was one of the suggestions that was made by our building official. So, yeah, well received. Any other discussion? All right, again, this is for the 4,000 to Pizzeria La Gitana for decorative lighting. Excuse me.
Councilmember Wood has joined the meeting.
Okay.
And that's it. The end of that.
Councilmember Wood, can you hear us? Going to unmute.
Yes.
All right, we are talking about the approval of $4,000 Pizzeria La Gitana for the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Awards. Is that a vote yes?
No, that means that I've looked at it. I'm aware of it.
Okay, did you have any questions or comments on this one?
No, sir.
All right, we will start the voting process then. Councilmember Wood, how do you vote?
No.
Okay, Councilor Richardson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Arias, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Kingheiser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Hess?
Yes.
Councilor Johnstone?
Yes.
Councilor Kaminsky?
Yes.
All right, that motion carries 6-1 vote. Wouldn't be in the dissenting. Is there a motion moving on to 3,500 to Steve Craig for the awning at 102 East Yelm Avenue as part of the 2026 beautification grant program? Is there a motion to approve? Councilor Kingheiser.
I move to approve $3,500 to Steve Craig for the awning at 102 East Yelm Avenue as part of the 2026 Yelm Beautification Grant Program.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Arias. Is there any discussion on this one? Councilor John, we'll give it to the second on this first. Councilor Arias.
Okay, so I want to be transparent about my hesitation on this one. The applicant himself describes this as repair and restoration, and my instinct is that repair is maintenance, and maintenance is a business owner's responsibility. And I don't think that that's a small concern when we're talking about public dollars. That being said, I did review the criteria that we have available to everyone that applies, and awnings are listed as eligible. And the criteria does distinguish between standard maintenance and restoration work. So as our criteria stands, it does meet that criteria based on my review of it. But I want to put on the record that I think we need to take a closer look at where we draw the line between beautification and maintenance, particularly for the business applicants. And also that makes me think about before next year's cycle opens, I would like to have a report back on all of the previous awardees and their current statuses. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
All right, Councilor Johnstone.
Just some clarification between what maintenance and what restoration would actually entail. And then also within the specifications, it says that it needs to improve the overall aesthetics. And this seems like it's just restoring the baseline. It's not a restoration or actually improving aesthetics. It's just deferred maintenance that we're paying for. And it seems like the specifications don't allow for maintenance. So just clarification from staff what it entails.
So the committee did look at that. That was a consideration and it was discussed whether or not it was normal maintenance or whether it was a special repair or was restorative. It was determined that it wasn't for a repair because of the damage. It was a one-time type of thing, although, it has occurred multiple times. This is their first time actually applying for it, for the awnings. We did determine there was, again, this is up to council. If you don't believe it does fit that criteria, this is, up to council if they want to decide that. I will defer to Councilmember Kenizer as well, who is also on that committee, if you wanted to chime in with any other thoughts or opinions on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awning. It could be removed. I think it adds aesthetic appeal. So in my personal opinion and my mind, it qualifies entirely and completely as a beautification effort. I don't know all the parameters of insurance. I don't know if they have insurance that covers the awning beyond the building. I don't know those specs. Those aren't necessarily mine to dig into. I think it does add to the beautification of the city, and it would be lovely to have it repaired. I think that that's where grants do come into play. He sought out a grant, and we have a grant to give.
All right, Councilor Kaminsky, then Richardson.
In reading under business applicants, it does say awnings, but the way I interpreted that is if you want to put up a new awning to beautify your business, that's one thing, but it clearly states under business applicants that newly constructed buildings and standard maintenance does not eligible for funding. So to me is maintenance. It's unfortunate maintenance. And moreover, it should have been done in a very timely way due to the potential danger on the sidewalk.
Let's go to Richardson, Johnstone, then Hess.
Well, we gotta think about too, and I don't just want to talk insurance, but what we're witnessing here is a loss. So something was in a certain condition, and because of a catastrophe or event, there was suffering a loss. Again, that's why we have insurance to cover these losses. There's a word in insurance called indemnity. Indemnity is to put things back into the original form prior to the loss. And they don't want to come out ahead. They don't want to come out below it. They want to be exactly as it was prior to the loss. And so what we're dealing with here is, and he's done it before to where he's fixed it on his own. He knows the routine, and that's admirable. I appreciate that. Is it a beautification? Absolutely. I look at it and go, oh, somebody fix that. Please help us now. But again, my question is, were the other options exhausted prior to an application to the city to ask for taxpayers' money to pay for something that you own? If you have the means to take care of it because you pay for insurance, and that's what it's for wind damage, and for other people who damage your property, they have that as well. And so what I don't want to fall into is somebody applying to this grant. Whenever somebody crashes into your building, or if a tree falls down, all of a sudden everybody, oh, I'm going to apply for that grant. Oh, then we're going to create something, and now we got to have Article B, Section 2, Roman numeral, because it's like, okay, now we got to make all these new rules because everybody's and again, I see the need, I see the structure, and I want it replaced. My thing is, we got to be careful how things happen, why they happen, and how they get repaired, and that's all I'm saying.
Ready, Councilor Johnstone.
So would the state of the awning in its current condition be a code violation? And if so, what does it state that that violation is?
I'm not sure if it is a current violation. Cody, do you know off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. There's something about repairs. I mean, if it's deemed a safety hazard, it could be a violation for sure. But yeah, it's hard to tell in the current. I'd have to go look at it closer and see.
Answer your question.
And I mean, it could really play into whether or not we're funding someone fixing a code violation.
I think we should just make sure that we're adhering to the guidelines set forth on this. Regardless of other, I mean, if that council's right, but this is what these folks applied for under their current guidelines. And I think we should hold to those guidelines. Again, if you're interpreting it differently as your vote, vote as you think, but I think we all should adhere as much as we can to the the guidelines that set forth. Councilmember Hess.
Two things. First one is for those that are concerned about the being a repair or maintenance. Remember last year we had one applicant that wanted new windows and new glass doors put into place. That also was a business thing. My concern is I'm looking at it and I see one price put down here, but yet we're giving them $3,500 and it has the price of $3,179. Even if you look at a 9% sales tax, that only takes it up to $3,400. And so I'm wondering, is this a typo or what happened? How's this work out?
It was rounded because his original document didn't have the sales tax, so it was just rounded. It's a reimbursement basis, so he would pay for the grant and he would reimburse the amount that he actually paid. He wouldn't automatically receive $3,500 if it was approved. He would only get the amount that it was.
Okay, and it's possible, 'cause I noticed that he's going to have some permits and other things like that. If we do not award this to him, can we as the city help out by saying, let's go ahead and waive those fees so that he can get it repaired? And something I would like to consider in the future, if
I
possible.
don't know if we can do that, as that would probably constitute a gift of public funds. This is a program that we have in place, just a one-off like that. I think what we can.
I was just,
certainly ask, but-
we do that for some developers.
You're gonna have open a can of worms, and we don't have a policy or criteria for that. That would.
I'm gonna see if Councilmember Wood has any questions or comments on this first, before we start going to other council members.
No, sir. I have no questions on this.
All right, we're gonna go Councilmember Kaiser, then Richardson.
I just have a comment being on the committee with that. This is not a restructure. There would be no permits that would need to be otherwise involved. It's replacing what's already there.
Correct. I don't believe we had, I don't believe we had comments from Chris regarding permitting. I don't recall any of those.
For the awning.
Yeah, for the awning.
Really just a replacement. There's not.
We're gonna go with
The comment.
Councilmember Richardson.
So we understand that this is a reimbursement condition, so, and who's to say how people get things repaired? Whether it be through insurance, you get it repaired, and then you show the numbers, because you gotta turn in your receipts. Do you accept receipts from someone's insurance and say, this is the, see, what I'm saying is, there's a lot of things here that has to do with personal property and the payment of repair. And so we gotta be careful how we navigate these things. If it's based off of reimbursement, it's like, well, did you pay for that out of pocket? Or is that a claim that you're showing us? And sometimes insurance, they just write the check to the individual. We don't know that so I don't know. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of things that we're not really looking at here that we can't look at. And I'm not, what I'm saying, please, somebody fix it. There's just a lot of things here that are too much for me to touch and to think about, that I'm just a little hesitant. Because if it's reimbursement based and it gets fixed and somebody writes him a check and then he shows you, yeah, fix it, here's my receipts, you cut him a check too, then it's like, oh gosh, what did we just do? Just saying.
Other questions, comments? Councilmember Kaminsky.
The building owner does not fix it and he's not granted the award. Is this something that the city can require him to do, being that it's on our main intersection?
Potentially, but this system isn't meant to punish folks. I mean, we're not gonna try to get them.
I mean, you had a safety question, like, would the city have any?
If there was a complaint on it, I suppose,
we have no code against dilapidated structures or?
We do, but it's usually on a sector basis right now. So we go to each. Do you want to explain the process for the fast study?
Yeah. So we assess it, see if it's a safety issue. Most time it has to be a safety issue. There are some things with the dilapidation that we can deal with that are cosmetic, but mostly it has to be a safety issue. What I've seen, it kind of looks like it might be a safety issue, but I don't know until we go out and actually inspect it. If it becomes a safety issue, we can tell them to have removal or not.
We're proactive in the terms of like, and looking for things that people need to fix, stuff like that. But we don't do the whole city at one time. It's unless it's complaint driven, and then he's talking about. But you probably wouldn't unless, again, this was complaint driven. And then if it is, we would take proper appropriate action with that.
Also, if it's blocking the right of way or any impediment of the right of way, we'd take action as well, because it is over the right of way, but right now it's not. You can still walk under it, so.
But let's get back to again, $3,500 to Steve Craig for the awning.
I just want to highlight one thing.
Sure.
If it is a violation, what it states that violation is could be important to define whether or not it meets the specifications. Because if it says it's deferred maintenance or it's something that they should be taking care of, as opposed to restoration or something that's.
Staff did not identify that as any issues when we were in that meeting. We have staff that is part of the building inspector would be the one that would be determining that. He didn't find anything at fault at that time.
Okay.
Councilmember Arias.
One more thing to say. It really sounds like this conversation has a lot more to do with our criteria and the fact that it's up for individual interpretation. And I think going back to my original comment of it, we need to revisit that and we need to look at that criteria again, especially for businesses, so that this question doesn't keep coming up of, is it maintenance, is it not? So I think we could do more there to prevent sort of this situation.
Other questions, comments? Councilor Richardson.
I'll tell you right now, working in the insurance industry, the man suffered a loss. And that is the insurance claim that has to do with the ability of putting your property back into the original state before the loss occurred, if you need to clarify maintenance.
Any further discussion? It's been motion seconded. We'll start with Councilor Wood. How do you vote on okay, Councilor Richardson, how do you vote?
No.
Councilor Arias, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Kingheiser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Hess, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Johnstone, how do you vote?
No.
Councilor Kaminsky, how do you vote?
No.
Motion fails, correct? Motion fails. All the others for Bounty's Families, American Legion, and Pizza were approved. So we will go ahead and we will communicate to both the awardees and the ones that didn't get awarded the process, and we're good to go. Thank you, council. Good discussion. And yes, we will be go ahead and discussing this further about the process and all that. We'll be doing this at a study session later this year. If council at that time wants to go ahead and adjust any of the definitions or criteria, we can go ahead and do so at that. Get the ideas, thoughts from council at that study session, and then go ahead and at a meeting later that month, go ahead and make those changes for the next year. All right. Thank you, council. Moving on. Next item, old business. There's none scheduled. Moving on, standing council committee report, starting with the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you. Our public safety meeting highlights, we met on the 7th, so last week. I want to congratulate again Donna McCain for so many years of service. We really talked about that. Everyone over there is adjusting to their new front desk, Olivia. They're quite busy over there with public disclosure requests, continue to be on the rise. Our calls, however, seem to be decreasing from January, February, and even now into March is what we were reviewing. Hiring, and there's 3 open officer positions with good candidates coming through, 1 lateral and 1 new hired, but still waiting for an academy date. The courts were discussed and you saw that. We discussed new bills concerning public safety, like the flock cameras. Chief had a meeting the very next day, which he shared at the community conversations. I want to take just this moment right here to encourage any of you to go to these monthly events. They're usually at noon at various places through the community, at 1 quarterly evening event. And even with my involvement and my meeting schedule, I really try to make the time to go, and I always learn something new. with these lovely conversations. The chief, the mayor, Public Works is there, Park and Recs is there. And so there's always a lot of information shared at our particular meeting, back to our meeting. Fire was able to be here at that time, but we all know that they're quite busy out there.
Alrighty. Thank you for your report. Public Services Committee.
No meeting.
Thank you. Finance Committee.
We had a meeting tonight. Director Nanovich pretty much covered it all. Aside from that, I think she's doing a really good job. And it was amazing to see how close our forecasted budget to the amended budget was, and we're actually doing better than we thought we were. So,
Fair enough. Thank you. General Government Committee. Right. Thank you. Mayor, City Minister, staff reports. Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Just a couple more updates for you from the Finance Department. We're making internal adjustments to the no penny policy that we will take effect June 1 on how we collect payments regarding the no penny policy. So we're working through that. From Public Services, many of you may have seen the intersection at Middle Road and Railway. It looks fantastic. That was always a terrible corner, the way it was sloped and everything else. So it's all redone. It looks great. And the sidewalks in that area are currently under design. So that's great. From our communications and rec, just a couple of things. Tomorrow, April 15th, Love Where You Live Lego Mosaic Build at 6 p.m. Saturday is Earth Day Cleanup and Volunteer Challenge. And Thursday, April 23rd is our Arbor Day celebration, 5 p.m. at the park stage. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. We had a mayor's meeting with all the different mayors of Thurston County last Friday. Just talked about different things impacting all the local communities. We talked a little about one of our new project or recently completed projects, the Railroad Bridge. They were all impressed on that and excited to see that. Attended the community conversations the evening. Thank you, Councilmember Kaiser, for attending as well. This was a pretty well attended one. I think there's probably like a 15, 20 people or so, that one. A lot of good questions. One of the things I did want to touch up on was the flock system that we have here in Yelm. Currently, as you might have heard, there was a lot of changes to the state legislature this year regarding placement of these different policies that are required now. They're mandated by the state, and we are doing our best right now to adhere to all those, including changing some locations that are nearby schools and churches. So we are complying with all the state RCWs and all that recently came out, and we will be reevaluating it towards the end of that contract, whether or not, we want to move forward, and whereas council and public safety committee will be involved that as well. And that's all I've got. Council member reports, starting with Councilmember Kaminsky.
Had no meetings, nothing to report.
Councilor Johnstone.
No meetings.
Councilmember Hess.
In reference to SWAC, let me get what that abbreviation's all about again. Solid Waste Advisory Committee. Apologize for that. One of the things that is good to report is that the Thurston County Chamber recognized Thurston County as a #1 green, the green municipality. I would love to challenge Yelm to see, can we beat the county out? One more thing to add to us.
Pretty difficult. They're pretty good. We've got a lot of our energy, as our recharging stations that we've been very proactive on. But yes, the county is doing pretty good stuff.
And it also looks like, in reference to these landfill waste that they're bringing in, it's slowly increasing over the from 2024 to 2025. 2026, it's at about 58,000 tons of trash have already been put into the landfill. Also, they have their hazardous waste. That would be really good to make sure that people are aware of that, and the importance of being able to dispose of hazardous waste properly is it helps our ecosystem, the salmon in our streams, the animals, for a variety of other things, instead of just pouring it down the drain or tossing it in the trash itself. So other than that, meeting this week for intercity transit, and that's about it.
Thank you. Counselor King-Heiser.
Yes, so quite busy. I wanted to share sometimes things with what do you do as a counselor, right? In Broadview, we talk about what we've done in our meetings. Our duties of a councilman focuses on setting a direction, making policy, and recognizing the community voice. Helping guide and visualize what we can do, not necessarily how it's carried out. Our city administration team breathes life to the daily activities of making it all happen. I've seen a lot of that breathing life, and I want to just thank the city administration for doing that. I'm working hard as a counselor. In the last few weeks since we've met, I've been busy attending public safety meetings, community conversations, as I mentioned earlier. I helped prepare and serve the senior dinner. I stretched myself and drove to Ellensburg for AWC's first council leadership conference and got to meet others in the same position, learn more of the legalities of Mayor Pro Tem. So I'm really excited to be serving this position and working with all of you as counselors, the community, and the administration. Today, I attended the Yelm Chamber luncheon, learned a little bit more about AI, and was also sworn in as our Yelm Chamber of Commerce president-elect. So I am delighted to serve our community, keep learning, sharing, and being part of making that daily difference.
Thank you for the report. Councilmember Arias.
Yes, so I attended the Regional Housing Council meeting on March 25th as Yelm's representative. 3 actions came before the body. We voted to support a unit mix change for the Franz Anderson Permanent Supportive Housing Project in Olympia. A necessary adjustment to keep the project financially viable and on track for construction later this year. We also recommended short-term funding for Quint Street Village, also in Olympia. It's a tiny home village, and they really needed this funding in order to prevent approximately 100 people from returning to homelessness. And the funding came from higher than expected 2025 revenue with no impact to existing programs. We also approved the 2026 Regional Housing Council Work Plan, which is focusing on this year's funding cycle and contingency planning around uncertain state and federal funding. I also want to note that this Friday, I will be attending the STEADY meeting, which will be taking place in Bucota, and I'll bring a report back at our next meeting.
Thank you. Councilmember Richardson.
I as well attended the chamber forum today, and it was really good to get back there and visit with people and see them again. And again, I want to congratulate our Mayor Pro Temp, Stephanie King-Heiser, as being elected, president for the chamber. And that's something people say, hey man, you should be the one. And that's just a reflection of all the work that she does and her involvement in the community. So good on you for that. And it was good to see all the new board members that they have as well for the Chamber of Commerce, because that's such a symbiotic relationship that has to be like upheld with the city of Yelm and the government here, because we got to work together. And so that was fantastic to see that. And it was fantastic to get that Casamia. They had that dill chicken, man. It seems like it's only a chamber exclusive because they don't have that at the menu at the restaurant. And so I'm not saying that's why I went to the forum, but it was a good reason to go. But no, congratulations on that president-elect. That's a lot. And so you'll be good.
Thank you. Councilor Wood.
Had a TCOM meeting that was canceled, and other than that, I've been out of town, so I have no report.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
All right. We do have an executive session tonight to discuss the consideration of site selection or acquisition of real estate for RCW 42.30.1101B, and we have it scheduled for 20 minutes. Let's do 20 minutes. At 7:25, we'll be back. Okay, all right. For those in the audience, we don't have any other business after this. You're more than welcome to stay and wait for us if you want, or this is it. So thank you for coming and council, we'll head right back right now to
That's great.
Oh, I think this is.
All right. We are coming back to this meeting at 6:25 or 7:25. I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Councilor Richardson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Kingizer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay.